News Channel 12 at 6 starts right now.
Family and friends gathered today to say their final goodbyes to Officer Alexander Thalman. He was a Marine, a police officer, a son, a brother, and friend. Loved ones celebrated the life he lived and the community he served.
That he was happy performing his duties as a New Bern police officer.
Officer Thalman was 22 years old. He served with the New Bern Police Department for 7 months. He died in the line of duty, but he left his mark on many. Good evening. I'm Valentina Wilson. Wesco 4th is off today. It's been an emotional day for loved ones of Officer Alexander Thalman. All week, we've brought you team coverage of the events leading up to his funeral today. This evening, that team coverage continues. News Channel 12's Brian North and Jamie Hicks were at Temple Baptist Church today, where the funeral took place. We also have full reports from News Channel 12's Kyle Horan. He's been on the story since it first broke a week ago. We begin with Brian now, live outside the church.
Well, Val, the funeral happened here today at Temple Baptist Church at about 2 o'clock. We arrived here at 11:30, and law enforcement already started showing up at that point, wanting to get here early to get one of the 1,800 seats that were available and also show their respects. A lot of them never knew Alexander Thalman, but they wanted to be there for the rest of their brotherhood in the police department. It was an hour-long funeral, very emotional at times. There was some laughter, there were some tears. All in all, a very beautiful ceremony that took place this afternoon. Jamie Hicks has been here all day with me, and we witnessed this live on News Channel 12 this afternoon. We carried it live, and it certainly did not disappoint for those who wanted to honor his memory.
Yes, Brian, it was a very patriotic day. We saw officers come in all across the country to say a farewell to Officer Thalman. I've been on this story all week, learning more about Officer Thalman and the life he lived serving his community. And today, News Channel 12 is inside at the service as family and friends said a final goodbye.
On March the 31st, shortly after 1 p.m., Officer Alexander Thalman completed paying the ultimate sacrifice. On March 31st, shortly after 1 p.m., this country lost a Marine, our city lost a beloved police officer. There will be an empty seat in the briefing room. But Officer Thalman's legacy still fills the room.
I remember the day that Alex told me that he was going to become a police officer. I knew this is what he wanted to do because one of his best traits was that he cared so much about helping people and making sure that everyone was safe.
Alex had a beautiful smile, and he gave it to everybody he saw.
I love him a lot. I'm gonna miss him. Alex will always be in our memories and hearts, and he will truly be missed but never forgotten.
And I'm proud to say that he was my brother, my friend, and he was my hero.
Brian. Brian, I know the moment that I'll never forget today is when his mother laid over the casket and kissed her son for the very last time. It just continued playing in my head. It was just an unbelievable moment that I'll never forget from today.
Some very powerful images from today. For me, it was the caisson, the riderless horse that was behind them. We saw that in that piece there. They then took the casket, put it in a hearse, and it made a processional through downtown New Bern to the police station. Kyle Horan has been covering that angle of it for us all day long. He's back in our studio with more of what he saw in the Colonial Capitol this afternoon. Kyle?
Brian, following the funeral, Officer Thalman's casket made a 4-mile journey through New Bern city streets. Along the way, the people Thalman once served stood by to wish him a final farewell.
I think it's tragic that a young man who's so young and done everything right so far should have his life ended so suddenly and so tragically.
It's very sad, but it's our community. It surely is our community.
One by one, they lined the streets, people leading the way for New Bern Officer Alexander Thalman.
We're setting out flags to support the police officer who died during the shooting.
Nearby the cruiser he used to patrol the streets, some young souls learned the meaning of thankfulness.
I thought it would be something that the girls would remember and appreciate.
A line of American flags for this reservist.
Here it comes.
After hours of waiting, the first glimpse of the caravan, and then silence across New Bern, even as the slain officer nears the end of his journey through the city.
With their recent loss, that's devastating. It's got to be tough on all these people. It's just don't know what else to say about it. It's just a sad situation. A young man like that loses his life.
A crowd awaits his departure. One final time across the bridge and on to Washington. But as Officer Thalman goes, a final call to attention from the water as we salute a fallen young man one last time. Well, the procession must have been a good 20 minutes or more from start to finish. Officer Thalman headed to Washington, where he will be laid to rest. Now we're going to shoot it back to News Channel 12's Brian North live in the field. Kyle Horan reporting in the studio.
Okay, Kyle, and that processional then went up Highway 17 to Washington. Very slow pace, so people along the way could salute or pay their respects to Officer Thalman as he headed that way. Amber Roberts is at Oakdale Cemetery in Washington, where the ceremony for the burial taking place right now. She's going to have a full report for us coming up tonight on Fox Eastern Carolina News at 10 and News Channel 12 at 11. Been at Trinity, been out here at Temple Baptist all day long. Val, going to send it back to you.
All right, Brian, one of the touching images from today was, of course, Officer Thalman's mother leaning over the casket and giving him one last embrace, so to speak. Stacy adopted him, and he came to live in Washington, and that became his home. We also know he was a bit of an athlete, a soccer player at Washington High School, Brian.
Yes, he was. He played for the Pam Pack, and by all accounts, with everybody I talked to, he was a good athlete, a pretty good soccer player. One of his friends who was in the Marine Reserve talked about how good of a runner he was and how hard it was for him to keep up with, and that he got that training from his soccer days with the Pam Pack. And, you know, it's been hard to find people who can say anything negative about him. We've heard that he was a little devilish at times in his childhood, but certainly he had integrity and character, and we've seen that through all the testimonials at the funeral today, and we'll continue to see that as he is laid to rest, but his memory will be honored. They will have a memorial in downtown New Bern for fallen officers, and his will be the third name placed on that. So in that sense, his legacy will live on.
And we can't forget Officer Justin Wester, who was also shot last Friday and survived. Claps went up for him today inside Temple Baptist as we heard the chaplain discuss Wester's contribution that day to trying to save a fellow officer and also trying to take down a suspect.
Yes, and, you know, he'll have a brotherhood here. There's so many officers that were here that are retired, who have been captains, who have had to go to these ceremonies before, and sometimes it's tougher for those who survive things like that, who witness it. And so he's getting moral support from all those people who came from as far as New York and Chicago and all around the Southeast and really just around this area. So a lot of support for Officer Wester, and he'll probably want it. But this is a tight group, a tight bond, this fraternity of policemen, as we've learned this whole week. And it only gets stronger when they have to go through some adversity like this.
Brian, thank you for your coverage today. And to sum it all up, Chief Summers said, Officer Thalman made our city a safe place to live, work, and visit. In case you missed any of this week's ceremonies honoring Officer Thalman, just head to our website, WCTI12.com. We did enjoy a nice sunny day across the area, but showers move in tomorrow. Meteorologist Jonathan Wendt is in for Skip tonight.
Yeah, good evening, Val. We're just dealing with some of those high mid-level clouds out there this evening, though. Taking a live look here at our Pine Knoll Shores cam, you can just see some of those high mid-level clouds in the background. It is a little breezy out there, and there is a small craft advisory along the coastal regions until tomorrow afternoon. So if you're doing any working on the water tomorrow or just out and about, just be aware of that. You can see here in our satellite and radar, we're just tracking some of those high mid-level clouds kind of skirted on in, and then back towards the west, some thicker clouds are going to be moving on in later on tonight. Even a few light rain showers, but I think mainly after midnight into early tomorrow morning. So if you have any outdoor plans this evening, it's going to be a gorgeous one. Mostly clear skies out there. Temperatures into the 80s, dropping down to the 70s by 9 o'clock, and eventually into the upper 60s by 11 o'clock with partly cloudy skies.
Vidant Pungo Hospital in Belhaven is staying open. We received that word last Thursday, and residents were overjoyed when we broke the news to them. Today, they have another reason to be happy, thanks to the people who originally planned to shut down the hospital. News Channel 12's Michael Hennessy explains.
Last year, officials with Vidant Health announced that they were closing their Belhaven location, Vidant Pungo, on April 1st.
I think everybody was kind of, devastated, myself included.
Hundreds of people turned out to rally against the decision.
Most of the people that's widespread around here, this is who they depend on.
When they originally announced that they're going to close it, you got to think that we have to go like 30, 40 miles to go to the hospital.
Last week, the NAACP, who threatened to sue on behalf of Belhaven neighbors, announced that they had reached an agreement with Vidant to keep the hospital open.
That saves lives. I mean, granted, it'd only be 3 or 4 a month or a year or whatever, but that's just lives they're saving.
The town said they needed $3 million to keep the hospital running. County commissioners voted to pitch in $2 of the $3 million. Now Vidant is saying if commissioners follow through on their promise, they're going to give the remaining $1 million to the town.
It's an awesome thing that they're doing.
I think that was one of the nicest things that they could ever do.
It means a whole lot. This is a lot of elderly people. We have a lot of young people. We have a lot of people in poverty. And a lot of people don't have transportation to get to Washington.
Beaufort and Hyde County residents who had been speaking out against Vidant officials are now praising them. They feel like their prayers have finally been answered.
God has took a hold of this thing, and now this hospital will remain open through the grace of God.
Vidant will continue to run the hospital through June 30th. In the meantime, they'll be helping the town put together a board, which would then take over hospital operations on July 1st.
We needed the money, and it's coming. Everything is coming into place. All we need is time and everybody to work together, stay together, pray together. Everything's going to be all right.
In Belhaven, Michael Hennessy for News Channel 12.
Vidant officials say the hospital will be free of any long-term debt. That was paid off in 2011. NAACP officials call the agreement an historic event and an example of how to save rural hospitals across America. You may remember this next story, the gator that attacked and ate an 80-pound husky. We tell you where that gator is now and how it's being used as an educational tool. And it's a last-ditch effort. Tonight on World News, the difficult search to find the missing Malaysia flight before the black boxes stop pinging.
I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Jonathan Wendt. It was a gorgeous day today, very warm, record-breaking temperatures. I'll show you where, plus a chance of some rain showers for tomorrow, coming up right after the break.
Alerting you to severe weather danger. This is Storm Track 12 meteorologist Jonathan Wendt.
Alrighty, well, we're ending the week on the very pleasant side. Temperatures have been into the 80s for the past 4 days, at least 15 degrees above normal for today. So your weather headlines this evening, just warm and windy. We are going to be seeing a transitioning period starting tomorrow with a cold front, and then a stronger storm system moves in for Monday and Tuesday to bring us some more rain chances, more widespread rain chances, in fact, and some cooler air. Storm Track 12 live Doppler radar scanning the skies this evening, just showing you quiet conditions, no rain out there yet. Very mild this evening, 84 degrees right now in Kinston. We've dropped down to 81 degrees in New Bern, 73 in Havelock. Notice along the coastal section, 66 degrees in Morehead City, just slightly cooler down there. As we go throughout the day today, though, we've warmed up quite nicely. In fact, some locations breaking some of those records. In fact, Washington broke that. The record was at 85 degrees. Today, highs right around 87 in New Bern. We tied the record at 89. So all in all, it was just a very warm day across the region tonight. It's going to be mild and breezy. We will start to see some of those clouds increasing, but temperatures inland 60 to 64 degrees, along the coast 62 to 66. Southwest wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow we'll start off with some clouds and even a few light rain showers, but then by the afternoon we're going to start to see the clearing. Temperatures into the low to mid 70s by tomorrow afternoon. Out there tonight, you can just see some of those south winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Gusting to 25, and that's making it a little bit treacherous, I guess, for your allergies. Our pollen for tomorrow, count 10 on the high. The maple, oak, and poplar is going to be the main concern. Grass, weeds, and mold, not too much of a concern, but the pollen count will be going down a bit as we head into Sunday and Monday as we get the rain to kind of wash some of this away. So that'll be some good news for you. So again, starting this evening off with just some of those high and mid-level clouds out there, increasing clouds overnight. Notice this model is painting just a few of those light rain showers as that cold front moves over the mountains. It actually just breaks apart and really kind of fizzles out. So we're not really talking about a whole lot of rain early tomorrow morning, but there could be some light rain showers out there. If you have any early plans, might need your umbrellas out there. And then clearing skies by the afternoon hours. Should be a pleasant afternoon. It'll be breezy out of the northwest. 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then early Sunday morning we start to see the clouds increasing once again. It is possible along the coastal sections just south of 70 where we could see some light rain showers, but then they'll be increasing as we head into Sunday night into Monday. More widespread rain showers comes in Monday morning as a coastal low kind of comes on in from the Gulf of Mexico. So over the next several days, you can see there we'll be into the 70s tomorrow, dropping back down to the lower 60s on Sunday, back into the upper 60s, low 70s for Monday and Tuesday. May even see a few rumbles of thunder out there Monday as we get some of that heavier showers to come in. About 1 to 1.5 inch of rain is possible with the system kind of lingering into Wednesday. And then, hey, you know, it'll be a cool Wednesday, I think, of upper 50s to low 60s, but then we'll went back up to where we should be for this time of year. Our average high is right around 70.
You wore the yellow for the pollen, obviously.
Yeah, it's been bugging me over the past several days. I've had to take Benadryl, I've had to take allergy medicines, just highly allergic. But
will the rain help with any of that to wash it away?
It will. It'll wash it away. My car is just covered. It's yellow right now.
Mine is too. I have a black car, so it stays yellow this time of the year. Thank you, Jonathan. It's a story that created quite a buzz. An alligator that attacked an 80-pound husky and ate it. That gator will soon have a new home in a museum. When you see news happen, just let us know. Give us a call, 800-738-6840. Send an email or comment on our Facebook page. This is News Channel 12 at 6. Thanks for watching News Channel 12 at 6. I'm Valentina Wilson. The 12-foot-long alligator that ate the 80-pound husky last summer has returned to Onslow County. As News Channel 12's Allison Parker explains, the stuffed gator is now on display in a museum. The purpose is to show you what kinds of wildlife can be found in eastern Carolina.
Donna Stith stopped in for a sneak peek of the new educational center and Sneed's Ferry Branch Library. But it's what these workers are hiding that sparked her curiosity. So I showed her a picture.
Oh my goodness, he is huge, isn't he? Oh, gracious. He's about the biggest one I've ever seen.
She's looking at a picture of this guy, a 12-foot-long alligator, 540 pounds, about 50 years old.
It's very scary.
But he's not alive.
I know, but just to think about that he could be under there somewhere, another one like him or his brother or something.
This is the same alligator that ate a military family's 80-pound husky last July. Simba was playing fetch and went to drink some water from a creek near Henderson Drive in Jacksonville when the gator attacked.
The alligator was determined by Wildlife Resources to be a nuisance gator. Had they tried to remove him, he would have come right back to that same spot.
So officials put him down.
The story doesn't stop there.
Museum Representative Lisa Whitman-Grice sent the alligator to Smithfield to be cast and preserved for educational purposes.
It's really interesting to see it come full circle from beginning last July, being pulled out of the water after that incident, and now it's here on display.
The gator is joined by some furry friends: bobcat, beaver, coyote, and bear.
People are surprised to find out we have all these wonderful plants and animals here. So we want to encourage people to get out and explore.
Stith plans to return here for the grand opening to see the beast up close. In Onslow County, Allison Parker, News Channel 12.
And you have to see a gator up close, I guess, but that's the way to do it when it's already no longer active. Well, the grand opening of the Onslow County Environmental Education Center and Library will be from 10 until 3 tomorrow. The center is on 1330 Highway 210 in Sneed's Ferry. Stay with us. We'll be right back. New details on a man shot last night in Pitt County. Ayden police say 22-year-old Kentrell Alston was shot on Pitt Street about 10 o'clock. If you have any information, you're asked to call Ayden Police or Pitt County Crime Stoppers. The Cycle North Carolina Coastal Ride kicks off today in Oriental. Riders are coming from 26 states plus Washington, D.C. and Canada. This is video of the Coastal Ride from 2011 when it was last hosted in Oriental. The event will last through the weekend. Hope you have an appetite because 2 new restaurants are set to come to New Bern. Panera Bread and Chipotle Mexican Grill plan to move into the same shopping center as Books A Million. That's off Dr. MLK Jr. Boulevard in New Bern. And we are reporting this according to the New Bern Sun Journal. There's already a Panera in Morehead City, but the closest Chipotle is in Wilmington. No word yet on when they're expected to open. More to come next. We'll be right back.
Alrighty, we're going to be tracking a few light rain showers mainly after midnight tonight, and then as we head into your early Saturday morning, they'll be clearing on out of here. Temperatures warming up into the lower 70s tomorrow, but big rain chances increase Monday into Tuesday with temperatures dropping back into the upper 50s to low 60s on Wednesday and eventually clearing on out by Friday.
Officer Alexander Thalman is being laid to rest tonight at Oakdale Cemetery in Washington. We will have continuing coverage tonight on Fox Eastern Carolina News at 10 and News Channel 12 at 11.